Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality Cast. I am one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. We are covering Married at First Sight UK and whatever the final episodes are, Chris. I can't remember the number in now. So, like Channel 4 itself, having some technical difficulties this side, but we finally watched it, didn't we? We finally got there to the finale. But Chris, what do you reckon to the last 4 episodes then?
Well, it was all shaping up nicely, Dave. I was expecting somebody to let somebody down and sort of walk away. We got, Dan and Matt had a bit of drama, didn't they? Where, Dan still wants to go to Northern Ireland. We'd had Matt hates fucking Morag. That was brilliant, Dave. I've seen that meme and Matt just sat there
amazing,
drinking his Prosecco and he had a pop at her. And Dave, look, that fucking Morag, the way she just bursts into them fake tears and makes it all about her.
Oh, no, I want to break his heart.
yeah, that's it. It's fucking perfect. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. And her speech to him was so fucking degraded, but then went, but I want to stay. And I'm like, oh, fuck off. I think I got to the point with Luke where I was like, Luke, it's your own fault. If you can't see that there's a fucking matador stood in front of you with a big fuck off red flag flying it literally in front of you and you're still willing to take that chance on this girl, then it's your own fault when this all fucking ends in tears, because that's exactly what it's going to do.
Yeah, Luke is prepared to go into bat with anyone and defend how Morag and himself are right for each other. And it's just a weird thing to see because I just don't see it at all. And I was very surprised they both decided to stay together. I mean, I'll be honest, Chris. I mean, we can talk about the final dates and the dinner party and everything. But, it comes to it. Basically, everyone's stayed together, haven't they?
Yeah,
everyone.
Which is ridiculous.
And I genuinely think the only ones who should stay together, and actually Dan and Matt I'll put off to the side because I still think, if they can get over the location thing, then they seem to be really good together. But Taya and Adam, I think you can see it, can't you? Good chemistry there. Do worry a little bit about, how obsessive she's going to be about moving into the next phase of their, married life. But the others, you're like, why are you together? Are you together so you get a happy ending at the end of the series? Because, Chris, I didn't realize there is going to be a reunion, so we'll have to cover that next week. I'm just not sure. I don't think Morag and Luke should have stayed together. I don't think Amy and Josh should have stayed together either. But yeah, they all of them, they've decided to give it a go.
Yeah, it was bizarre. I mean, Amy and Josh are probably the least compatible out of everyone now watching it. Even Morag and Luke, they're at least this Morag, when she's with Luke, she's sort of body language is saying all the right things, but her fucking mouth says all the wrong things with Morag. But with Luke and Amy, it's just Josh and Amy. Sorry, it's absolutely nonsense that they're always arguing. She's got that princess complex. He's a wind-up merchant. There's the 8-year gap, which, I'm in a relationship with. There's a 7-year gap, Dave, and it's never been an issue. Probably me being more immature when I was younger. But Josh literally, like you said, it's so funny. I was listening to that episode and you said, Josh has decided to turn over a new leaf the minute the producers called him and said, do you want to come on this fucking show? Because he was like, you're calling me a fuckboy. Looking at all your stuff, and I don't know him, that's pretty much what he's been, because he's 26. Why shouldn't he be single? But he's got the opportunity to go on a show and pretend to be married. And that's exactly what he's done. So I was the same as you. And even Frankie and Maralise, there's something there. They love each other, but there's just this awkwardness. However, he was quite sweet, Frankie, when they did that, the sort of commitment bit. He was like, let's go and live the rest of our lives together and all that. And we've given him a hard time for obvious reasons. And it could be, one, he's awkward on the telly. he isn't a part of this world, so he doesn't understand it or whatever. I'm trying to give him a little bit of slack, but everything I've seen of him, he's red flags. However, I did think he slightly redeemed himself, but I'm not confident they're going to be together in 6 months, Dave. I'm really not. I think it will be for the reunion, and judging by the VT we've seen, it's all about fucking Morag again. So that's going to be interesting what goes on there. But I must admit, in Morag's defence, and there's very little I'm going to defend her on because I don't like her and I just think she's a fucking wannabe, and that's the whole point of being on this show, probably like most of them, but I think she's more fucking thirsty for that fucking bit of fame than any of them by the looks of it. Is I think Luke's mum would be a problem, even if she was genuine and she was a lovely girl. I think Luke's mum's the big problem because she is worried about him, but she also sort of puts him down when they have these conversations that I've seen on the show. I don't know if she's like in real life, but on the show, it always seems that she's literally saying, you only need me, son. You know, that typical mother thing, like only child syndrome. So I don't know how you feel about that, but I've always had a little bit of a feeling that she is looking out for him, but there's also that thing of, he's going to leave me for another woman.
I see it completely differently to that. I don't agree. I'm trying to think now. I'm trying to replay very quickly back in my mind whether I saw any hint of that. All I saw was Luke. You can tell from his personality, he falls in love very quickly. He's a little bit of a puppy dog, and he's probably done this multiple times and been hurt multiple times. And every time where does he go? He goes back to his family, goes back to his mum and confides in his mum. And so his mum has seen this over and over again and is trying to be supportive of him, but is also, wanting him to make better choices with his life. Because let's face it, from what we can see, he's not making better choices. So I don't know. I don't see the mum being a problem at all. I think, every time I see that replay of Morag's friend, like getting up and saying, you've got a challenge, Morag wants to be challenged. And Morag saying, when Luke is defending, their marriage, and Morag's not just like sitting quietly, she's jumping on the side of the fence of a friend and fucking saying, yeah, they know me, and what I want. And it's like that whole interaction is so uncomfortable, and a friend is just a fucking bellend for me. Yeah. So yeah, I just think Luke's mom is just looking out for him. And yeah, he's in for a bit heartbreaking here, let's face it.
Yeah, I think so. Sam said when we were watching it, she said, I'm sure I've seen a friend on Summit. I don't know whether she's a bit of a wannabe, but what does she want to be challenged to? A fucking flat race? A fucking game of chess? It's just like Morag. I don't know, Dave.
It's just the way she thought. I can see it in my mind's eye now. It's the way she stood up. It's like, you're in the fucking pub. Calm yourself down. She stood up and like she's slapping her hand. It's like, fuck off.
Yeah, I agree with that. She's fucking unbelievable. I mean, when you look at, and it's all going to be, it literally is the Morag show. Whatever you see on social media, on our Facebook pages, messages we get on Twitter, it's literally about Morag and what she's doing, because she has been the drama, hasn't she? We were expecting this massive blow up between Frankie and Maralise, and it didn't really happen. Now, whether that's an age thing, Maralise, to be fair, knocked Frankie down a couple of times, didn't he? Especially that dinner party when him and Josh towards Amy were totally disrespectful the way they spoke to them. So maybe he's gained respect for Maralise because she's like, no, I'm not fucking putting up with it. I like you. They both said they love each other. I'm not, and that's how it should be. I mean, I'm sure look, Sam, Dave, she won't fucking mess about. If she thinks I've spoke to her in a bad way, which is, I'm not fucking brave enough to do that, as you know, Dave, but she will knock me down a peg or two and she should. And then vice versa. If I think she's been disrespectful to me, then I'll tell her. So that's how I'd tell her by text, Dave, while I'm 100 miles away. But I would tell her, Dave, honestly, I would. Or I'd get you to tell her that you were disrespectful. You know what I mean? No, but that's how a relationship works, doesn't it? You should be able to air your views, whether you're in the right or wrong. So as a TV show, this has been fantastic to watch. It's been dead easy going. It's been 4 weeks, 4 episodes a week of just drama, but it's relatable. I think the age, I know some of them are younger, but the age difference is what I miss with Love Island. I think there's just different conversations to be had. And yeah, it's proved as well, the older you get, you're still a fucking stupid, you're still a dick at times and that. But I think you take a step back more in life with stuff. You do reflect on stuff as you get older, thinking, well, my actions, have they caused this, and this? I don't know about you, but I'm a lot more self-aware of my actions as I've got older. Whereas when I was younger, I was dead pig-headed and just like, well, if you don't like me, you don't fucking like me. Whereas now I'll take a step back and go, well, why is this person saying this about me? Or why, you know what I mean? Like I do try and mend fences a bit better than I did when I'm younger. And I think having such a wide age group on the show works so well. And look, the Aussie one's about to start, and I am fucking all in on this Aussie one, Dave. I cannot wait for that to
absolutely start. Definitely. I have really enjoyed this series, I have to say. And like you say, the trouble is the diversity in Love Island almost zero, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've basically got early 20s narcissists who are glued to Instagram and live and die through that. So Chris, this last season of Love Island, the chat was so fucking dull, wasn't it? It was so boring. These kids have no life experience whatsoever, and we love it for the drama and everything. But, it has been interesting in this series where you're seeing more kind of real chats.
Yes.
You're seeing people like Amy, let's face it, right? I think these matchmakers are a bit crap, or they are just playing the game. They're playing the showbiz game. They're not actually trying to matchmake. They're just trying to put together some people where they're going to get the best TV. Amy and Josh is a ridiculous pairing. Because at the age that she's at, she's absolutely thinking, I need to, have a pretty sure thing here. And, I want to be thinking about babies. You could see from, the first time she had a bit of screen time, she was talking about her past and everything. It was very clear that was on her roadmap. Josh had said, I'm not a fuckboy anymore kind of thing, since I've come on the show. And it's like, dude, come on. Now, Amy, I don't like her personality, to be honest. She is quite a horrible person at times, but she is so stubborn. She is determined to try and make this work, to basically say, fuck you to the couples. That is her motivation. Now, I don't think that's going to keep them together for that long. But you can see it, she's snarling at the other couples, like Adam and Taya in particular, I think. She hates it. And the idea that they're the last couple, because they got voted, didn't they? The last couple at the dinner party. She hated that. But so they're never really going to work. Can you imagine Josh getting that baby conversation? It's like, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, he's not. He would run.
But what he trots out is, the way he describes it, he's talking about moving at his own pace. Josh, Amy doesn't have options on pace here, and he just doesn't get it, does he? No. He's just thinking, I can casually bob along at my own pace and just occasionally have to defend myself. And again, you can look at the actual couple. I have to look at the matchmakers and say, what the fuck are you thinking? So again, probably thinking this will make great TV.
And you're right. I think you look at that. I know they've left, but Megan and Bob, one of the worst match couples together. You had a fucking Labrador who was literally just rolling over and letting her tickle her belly. Literally, he was like I nearly said it. Fucking hell! This is for a different podcast. But a man, I nearly said what the actual, but a man who watches his woman with other guys, Dave, and I believe there is movies out there on it on certain sites. But that's basically what he was doing, when Jordan had a bit with her and that he was accepting that behavior because he'd been upset. Megan was an absolute wannabe. I think she's more of a wannabe than Amy and Morag. I think she absolutely wants a career. Her brother was a dead leg. He's been on fucking Singletown, as you'd quite rightly spotted. And just a family of him and her and her brother, just a family of people who want to be on TV, reality TV. And that's fine. But this experiment for her was just purely, like most of them, Instagram. Didn't like her one bit. However, I got pissed off at Bob at the end because he was doing like what Luke does with Morag, where he was defending her when she didn't deserve defending. She was ripping the piss out of him, being disrespectful. And then when people call Megan out, she'd then go back to Bob and go, they're having a go at me. And it's like, they're having a go at you because you're a sly ass who's got caught with your fucking hands in the cookie jar, literally, with Jordan. And then you're trying to play the victim. So amazing people on here, an amazing experiment. And you can see the dynamics. But look, at the end of the day, Dave, it's been amazing. I've got to say, it's probably going to be one of my best reality shows I've watched in the last couple of years. Really has surprised me.
Yeah, no, it has been great. And I tell you what, Chris, because everyone decided that they were going to stay together, it's building up, isn't it, to Adam and Taya. And you can see Adam, the way they cut it, they were playing with us because it looked like Adam was wobbling a bit, didn't it?
Yeah.
It looked like, he was enjoying his time in the gym. Cracking body, by the way. And like he was thinking, actually, yeah, quite like I'm a single life. And, Taya is pushing pretty hard to like remodel my whole house and have babies straight away. So I thought he was going to wobble. But no, the thing that he was actually nervous about and, that he was saying he's not sure about how Taya will react. Turns out he's going to re-propose because obviously this is married at first sight. There is no proposal as such. And Chris got a bit emotional. I sort of, it got me that bit.
Well, you know what, Dave? I'll agree with you. However, the reality radar, and I was getting called out when I watched it by Sam, saying, "Where's your reality radar?" Because she said straight away, he's going to propose to her before we'd even got to the stage of seeing the VT. And I'm like, no, they're not. And I'm looking, and then she's like, yeah, your reality radar is shit, Chris. And I'm like, fuck off on that.
I think Sam's a bit late to that train.
Yeah, I know. She was slating me when we watched it about my reality radar, and she called it straight away. She went, he's proposing to you, don't? And then the videos come, and she's like, there you go. You can tell by her eyes and everything that he's down on one knee. It wasn't like I bought it like you. I was thinking, oh fuck, what's he fucking done here? Has he bottled it or something? But no, when Sam said it, I was like, oh, she's right as well, Dave. I'm going to have to take a loss on this one. Like I say, I texted from 100 miles away and said, yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? But he called. But look, I think they deserved that. It was brilliant the way he did it. Perfect for the show. The fucking producers, absolute fairy tale to have a proper proposal. And look, I think they're dead compatible. I do agree. She may end up being the bridezilla after it because she's going to want all this thing, and he's only a fucking Sparky, Dave. He's not like he's on fucking millions. So he lives in Doncaster. He's not in the middle of fucking London or something. So I think she needs to tame her expectations on that one. And also a mum is very wary. And I will say, Dave, you know what the biggest shock was over the last couple of episodes? I've never noticed this before, that she's only 25. I thought she was mid-30s, me.
Yeah, I didn't even notice, to be honest.
Yeah, I think she looks well older than 25. I mean, she's a pretty girl. I'm not dissing her like that. But I thought she was about the same age as Amy, about 34, 35.
Yeah, she does have a more mature face. Feeling, when you're treading across the lake when you're a kid, and you're like, I'm sure there's a softer bit of ice here that I could fall through. We all saw the adverts as kids.
I'm setting you up, sorry.
That's what I feel like. It's like yeah, she does. I would have guessed at her age being a bit older, Chris. That's all I'm saying.
Right, okay. Let's not at least me who set you up with that. Sorry, but
No, it's all right. But listen, we sort of skipped over like Marilise and Frankie, and you said it did seem a bit sweet. But Chris, I'm not buying any of it. There is something so off about Frankie. I don't know what his game is. I don't know whether he's just playing the percentages, whether he's not here for his social media career. I don't think.
No,
there was a bit of me that thought for a while that, well, he's here to promote his business in Dubai. But when he's saying like, you know, he didn't think about moving back to the UK from Dubai for 1 minute, you know, before he met Marilise. It's like, yeah, this doesn't stack up. It's as if he's just saying to Marilise what he thinks she wants to hear.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know. I don't think you ever got into Dexter, did you? But
I watched bits of it,
you know,
not all of it.
Yeah. But I mean, the whole thing with Dexter was he was a bit of a psychopath, but he knew what he had to do to fit into normal life. Now, I'm not saying he's Dexter, but it's just like people can fake, you know, saying the right things. And I still feel like there's this simmering rage just below the surface with him all the time. And yeah, it's just, I'm not buying it at all.
What? So if he starts putting plastic bags on the floor like Dexter, because I did watch the first two series.
Be fucking out of there.
Fucking Lethal Weapon 2. I'm like, oh, I'm on fucking plastic carpets. She better get out of there. But no, I agree with that completely. He has got this simmering thing. And like I say, I've got a friend who's in the army and it's the same thing. I don't know if it's an art because of being in the armed forces, you're so guarded and you're always ready for something to go wrong, which you obviously would be, especially judging by what he said about the situations he was in. He sounded like, and I think as well, Dave, just that one conversation we had with her was like, it was like he's been a lone wolf. You know, he's basically, I think he was basically telling her he was in the SAS, but not telling her, he'd done everything else. And he went, well, I'm used to goodbyes because when I left to do this and I did this, and he sounded like he's been very isolated. So maybe that's why he's awkward around people as well. But who knows?
Maybe. Look, yeah. Chris, anyone who calls himself Frank the Tank, I'm not fucking buying it.
I used to call myself Chris the Dick, Dave, because that's what you call me, but there you go. So have you got anything else, Dave, before we go?
Well, I just say I'm looking forward to the reunion. You know, things can get a bit spicy with the reunion. It looks like it's not Josh, is it? What's the Welsh chap's name?
Luke.
It begins with a J. Jordan.
Oh, Jordan. Yeah, Jordan.
Jordan's back, isn't he? And we saw that he says that he didn't apologise to Megan. He apologised to Bob. So, you know, he's come in all guns blazing as well, it looks like. Morag is probably going to, you know, realise that fame isn't enough to keep up with Luke all this time. So, yeah, I'm interested. I don't quite know what the time lag is. I mean, you'd have thought it was at least, you know, it's not a Love Island, is it? It's not like we finish on the Friday and then next week we'll do the reunion, which is utterly pointless. I'm hoping there's been a little bit, like say a 3-month gap with these couples so that they can actually live together and sort of see how things go properly and they've got something to actually talk about. Again, I was going to say not having a dig at Love Island, but yeah, having a dig at Love Island.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, looking forward to that one next week.
Well, we saw a we saw a picture of one of the contestants on the reunion, and I think it's a couple of months at least, because I could be wrong, and it could be the camera angle and the filter. This person looks like they've had a schnoz. Their schnoz done, Dave, which obviously a man of myself who has a rather large nose is not averse to potentially having a fucking nose job down the line. But one of them looks like they've had a nose job. Now, I'm not going to say which name it is because that would be horrible. But
tell me after.
No. But her name rhymes with borag, Dave. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, I can't believe it.
I don't believe I've done to him. Unbelievable.
I mean, that's longer than a couple of months, isn't it? It takes a good 6 months or something, I think, to recover from a nose job, doesn't it?
Maybe it is. Maybe, I don't know. Unless because there's been no social distancing, really, no mention of it. So unless this was recorded before lockdown and it's been even longer, I don't know. We'll see. But I'm really excited about that. I agree. I think the little VT we've seen is going to be interesting. And I hope we get some fucking absolute drama. I really do. It'll just top it off perfectly because this has just been.
That's a good call though about the social distancing, because like in the pub where unfortunately my mind's eye is now treating me to more eggs mate again.
Yeah,
there's no social distancing there.
No,
so they can't have had this one in the bag since end of 2019, 2020. I wouldn't have thought.
Well, don't forget though, Dave, when we watched, was it the Netflix one? Not Love is Blind, the other one. The one where that Aussie
Too Hot to Handle?
Too Hot to Handle, the first series. That was filmed a year before it came out because none of them could post anything on the social media because, one, nobody knew that they were contestants. Anyway, they couldn't hint at anything. And once the show started, they had to go blind because obviously you had that, the Aussie guy, New Zealand lad with Francesca, who ended up on Love is Blind, didn't she, with that guy, as a mate, apparently. But that was all a full year before it come out. So it could do, unless they finished it, they were filming it before lockdown and then they had to stop filming and come back to it. You don't know, do you? But you're right. I mean, The Bachelor, we called out The Bachelor and Bachelorette, their fucking social bubble. Someone who was on season 2, episode 4 of The Bachelor just knocks on fucking Katie's door and goes, "Hi." And she knows who they are. Oh my God, you were just passing. Oh, of course you were. I was passing 2 doors down for the last 2 weeks while I self-isolated. Of course we were, so I agree with you. The pub thing and the family stuff, the bubble was getting extended on this show. This has probably got a bigger bubble than The Bachelor, to be honest, than The Bachelorette.
Yeah. And the thing is, things have been relaxed here for, I guess, a few months now, haven't they?
Yeah. I'd say 3 or 4.
It's only really through the summer, I think. Wasn't it June or July or something that they really kind of relaxed it? So, I don't know.
Interesting, Dave. Interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to Google it now.
It's just a thought, isn't it? I mean, it's in the grand scheme of everything, it's good, but I know. Yeah. I think you said you'd seen a picture of Morag and she had 2 glasses of champagne there, but obviously just herself. So it'll be interesting how this plays out on Tuesday. And for the future, I'd be interesting just for the future as the experiment more than anything. With Love Island, even now, Love Island's finished. I don't give a fuck about any of the couples. I've not even seen anything of any of the couples this year because obviously we're not on TikTok. Like, obviously, they're like the Instagram was for the career, but I think TikTok has overtaken Instagram now. You've got to do both of them hand in hand because, like, the show reel on Instagram, that's where they make the money. But I've not seen anything really of anybody since they've left. And once we watched that reunion show, I was like, that's the full stop on them. Don't fucking care. I'll read about them in 6 months when they've all split up, So with these, though, I'm more vested interest in them just to see in a few months down the line how they go on. Because I'd love to keep humble pie on some of them and they're still together and they have kids and everything. That would be nice.
So I'm just reading it up now. I think it's the nose job thing that's throwing me. I don't see how they can fit that in. So the article that I'm looking at suggests, and this is for OK, it's suggesting that it is filmed all this year, but they're kind of guessing a bit as well. They're going back over the timeline of the year, like when I think it was March, they started to relax things, or rather they announced in March and then it was end of April, wasn't it? They started to relax things and then June 21st was so-called Freedom Day. Now, when they're having all the stag do and hen party and stuff, you can get that. You can get them all being in their own bubble. But it's like the wedding situation. Like, how did they get away with putting everyone in there? They can't have all been in that bubble. The whole pub scene, well, June 21st was so-called Freedom Day. So that could have been any time over the last few months, couldn't it?
Yeah.
They could have quite happily all sat in the pub together. So, yeah, I'll be interested. But like I say, it's the nose job that's throwing me, Chris. I don't know how she's going to have been able to have got that in.
I might be wrong. It might be a camera angle, Dave, but she looked completely different.
I'll be looking
on this
for it.
pitch. Yeah, I think everyone listening will be now. So, anyway, Dave, listen, massive thanks to everyone as always on our Patreon, guys. We really, really love your support, whether you're supporting us now or you have in the past. Anybody who has mentioned the podcast, big thanks to our friends over at BBC Radio Berkshire as well, Dave. We've literally got like a regular spot at the moment talking reality TV. You know, I'm even having to watch Strictly Come Dancing now, Dave. So that's yay. No, but honestly, really big thanks to them, Michelle, Jordan, and some of the other hosts who've had us on. It's been brilliant. I just want to do the old show reel. Thank you, Dave, to all our patrons. So it's patreon.com/CD RealityCast if you want to support us, guys. And today's big thanks go to Lucy, Helen, Brianna, Jacqueline, Noreen, Claire, Amy, Zoe, Joanna, Helen, Libby, Katie, Dee Dee, I can't breathe, Hannah, Ed, Priscilla, Susan, Hennessy, Haley, Lauren, Lucky Lulu, Green, and Kent Gustafson. So thank you, guys. Dave, that was terrible. I usually can hold my breath there. That was absolutely awful. Big thanks, guys.
No, it's just a bad line. Sorry. I was just saying you did all right there, I thought.
All right. Oh, thank you, my friend. Thank you, my good friend. If you want to email us, cdrealitycast@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media, @cdrealitycast. So, Dave, thank you for this, mate. I have got news for you, Dave, just before we go. We've not said we're doing anything or what we're covering next. We have got Married at First Sight Australia. I have seen, Dave, and I've been teeing you up for this, and people have actually been asking for me to go solo on this, but I can't go solo without you, Dave. The Australian Love Island is starting on October the 11th. So that we're not doing it daily. Whatever happens, we are not doing it daily. I value my friendship with you, Dave, over anything. So we've got them in the pocket.
That is a tough one, isn't it? Because we've got Married at First Sight Australia or Love Island Australia on the table. So for next week, we'll just cover the reunion. We'll have a chat about the MAFS reunion, and then we'll make a decision somehow. Then I'm thinking might have to throw it to the patrons, Chris.
Yeah, it's fine with me. Do a little poll.
Yeah, and we've got, The Circle. I don't think that's finished yet, has it? On Netflix?
No, we haven't even gone through that. I'd like to do that. I do like The Circle. Just more for watching it, even if we don't cover it or we just do a one wrap-up episode. I like The Circle. It's dead easy watching. I love the experiment of it.
Let's discuss it, and we'll probably put up a Patreon poll and then figure out what we do next. But I do love the 4 episodes a week, Chris, of Married at First Sight. I must admit, not trying to influence anyone. But anyway, Chris, this has been great.
But there you go. No, it has, mate. It's been great fun, and I just love the fact that we're going along with these different shows now. It's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. All right, mate. Well, thanks very much, sir. And everyone out there, thanks for listening. And we'll speak to you next time.
Take care, everyone. Bye.